bodies.
I like Kevin Hatcher. A big, tough defense, and he scores.
Hatcher moving in, he scores!
Kelly Miller always gives like 110%.
Pavarotti. I like the whole team. I like Johnny Beaupre the best.
Fitzgerald with a quick push down the glove save by Beaupre. Vandra's got a breakaway. Here's Peter Vandra. Vandra scores! And the Capitals lead 5-2.
The Washington Capitals lit up the Cap Center with a high-speed, end-to-end style of hockey that propelled them into the playoffs for the 11th year in a row.
The right wing is Krieger. Krieger in front for Miller. He scores!
Ridley down the right wing. Ridley walking in, shoots. He scores!
Led by a record-breaking core of defensemen, the Big Red Machine rolled to a new level of excitement in 1992-93, when hockey at the Cap Center had a capital attitude.
Bobby confident. Iafrate shoots, he scores!
In the topsy-turvy world of the NHL playoffs, 4 of the top 5 teams from the regular season were eliminated in the very first round. The Capitals eventually fell to the shocking New York Islanders, who went on to dethrone the defending Cup champions. Despite the disappointing ending, the Capitals battled their way to a second-place finish in the toughest division in hockey. The Caps once again featured one of the stingiest defenses in the NHL, while at the same time tearing up the league record book with an incredible 94 goals scored by their defensemen. For the Washington Capitals, the start of the 92-93 season featured more injury updates than hockey highlights. Randy Burge would miss 80 games after reconstructive knee surgery. Left winger Dmitry Kristich broke his foot in the final preseason game. And after just 3 games, last year's leading scorer Michael Pavarotti was out with a pulled groin. By mid-November, their record was 7-12-1, and the Caps found themselves in the Patrick Division basement. Then, with the return of Kristich and Pavarotti, the offense began to rock and the Caps began to roll.
Now Ridley with the drop pass coming in. Bonner shoots, he scores! Steal by Carpenter. He scores! Bondra, Krieger cutting for the net. Bondra fires, he scores!
For the next 6 weeks, they stormed through their NHL schedule, playing 21 games and losing just 4. The red-hot Caps reeled off 7 consecutive wins, averaging an incredible 6 goals per game.
Iafrate cuts around Hughes, shooting, and he scores! Cote at the left point. First one in front, scores!
Leading the charge for Washington was the most explosive defense in NHL history. The Capitals became the first team ever to have 3 defensemen record 20 or more goals in the same season. This year, Kevin Hatcher, Al Iafrate, and Sylvain Cote were part of a dream defense for the Washington Capitals.
Cote shoots, he scores!
Cote provided a punishing presence behind the blue line. Besides dishing out big checks, he also had his finest offensive season ever, pumping in a career-high 21 goals and 50 points. Steady veteran Kalle Johansson filled out the record-setting defensive corps, making it the strongest foursome in the NHL. At 6'4" and 225 pounds, Kevin Hatcher remains one of the league's more intimidating defensemen. This season, he put together his size, strength, and speed in a record-setting performance that clearly moved him into the elite of the NHL.
Play, here's Hatcher in deep, he shoots, he scores!
Well, Kevin Hatcher is probably the prototype defenseman that you'd like to have in the 90s in the National Hockey League. He has got everything. He's one of the bigger defensemen at 6'4". For a big man, he's unbelievably agile. He's quick on his feet, so he is the complete package in the National Hockey League.
Hatcher led all NHL defensemen in goals scored with 34, including the first hat trick ever scored by a Capital defenseman.
Run it to my low. Brady beats Hatcher for the one-timer, scores! In front, Hatcher comes in, shoots, scores! Knocked off the puck by Wade, gets to Carpenter, his shot blocked. Hatcher fires, stop the rebound, score! That's the hat trick!
This season, the 26-year-old also played another part in Capital history when 11-year captain Rod Langway passed on the traditional captaincy to Kevin Hatcher. While Hatcher provided steady leadership and stability to the Caps, Al Iafrate was the team's daredevil defenseman.
Here comes Iafrate. Score! Wow,
He's just really exciting to watch. He's fun when he turns it on, he turns it on.
Please pass for Iafrate, he's got a breakaway, Al Iafrate scores!
Wow,
Wow, is he playing great?
I think the bike, yeah, it's a reflection of my personality. I like to go fast.
He can wheel, and here's the wheels into action.
Danger, I guess. Living on the edge a little bit. You know, I like beauty. I want the bike to be pretty. So I guess all those things are me.
He's the NHL's leading authority on Harleys and heavy metal, combining pure speed and raw power in an all-star machine that fires pucks at an NHL record 105 miles per hour.
Brady, fastest skater on the team, one of the hardest shots, Quickly, and scores! Al Iafrate away. Winds up with a shot, scores! Al Iafrate!
Wild thing, number one.
He's a great player on ice, off the ice. He's a good motivator for the team.
He's crazy.
Fans love his freewheeling end-to-end rushes. And when the game is on the line and Big Al is on the ice, all eyes turn to the wild thing.
I just like to compete. I like the challenge of outmaneuvering or, you know, some guy trying to knock me down or trying to outskate me. I've always been competitive ever since I was a little kid. That's what I love to do.
Here comes Iafrate. Score!
By mid-December, the streaking Capitals had climbed up the Patrick Division ladder and were now challenging the New York Rangers for second place. On the 26th, they faced off against the Philadelphia Flyers, who quickly jumped on top 4-0. Down, but not out, Michael Pavarotti started the comeback.
Deals it in deep, straight deep, pass across, score! Michael Pavarotti.
Kelly Miller kept it going.
Quickly back to Iafrate. Wrist shot, deflected defense, score!
Less than a minute later, the Caps were within one.
For Miller. Matched by Mander, passes and score! And it's 4-3 on a combination from Miller to Hatcher.
With the Caps center crowd now in a frenzy, Pat Ellenuk tied the game.
Set one in front, score! And the game is tied at 4.
Incredibly, the Caps had fought back to tie the Flyers 4-4. The game ended in a dramatic 5-5 tie. 3 days later, the Rangers grabbed the early lead against the Caps, going up 3-1 before Washington came roaring back.
Michael Pavarotti, top of the circle. Hunter walking in. He shoots. He scores!
Down by one with less than 3 minutes to play, Peter Bondra scored off a faceoff to tie the game.
Acquired Eddie Olczyk. Quick shot, score! Peter Bondra!
This time, the Caps would not settle for an overtime tie.
Patrick's pass broken up by Kristich. Played by Pavarotti. In front, Bondra scores!
These back-to-back come-from-behind thrillers push the Caps into sole possession of second place in the Patrick Division, the league's roughest neighborhood. In the NHL, nobody likes playing the Washington Capitals. It is a punishing evening. Veteran Dale Hunter would once more lead the Capitals in desire and intensity. Like a pit bull on skates, he's regarded as one of the game's fiercest competitors. This year, he matched his career high in points with 79 and led the team with 59 assists. Hard-working Kelly Miller turned in another solid season as one of the NHL's top defensive forwards. Along with Miller, Mike Ridley has quietly turned into one of the best two-way players in the game today. His 82 points were second highest on the team. And while Ridley and Miller were often matched against the opposition's top scoring line, these two became masters at turning takeaways into breakaways.
Back to the lineup. Here's a break for Ridley. He scores, and the Capitals take a 3-1 lead.
Only Thornton keeping his back. Miller shoots, scores!
Newcomer Pat Ellenuk added scoring to the front line. Fiery rookies Keith Jones and Steve Konowalchuk, along with Todd Krieger, Alan May, and Bob Carpenter were the team's workhorses, unsung heroes who often worked outside of the spotlight.
Hunter tries to walk it in front. Hatcher shoots. It's blocked. The rebound. Jones scores! Krieger across the St. Louis line. Moving it all around. He holds up and he scores!
Going to throw the puck on a hard around here. Come to half. First, the group is here at half.
Blessed with the league's most dynamic defense, head coach Terry Murray stressed a disciplined, aggressive transition game.
On the boards, come to the middle, give him a pass for the shot, then I'll give you a second pass for a shot coming in.
For much of the year, the Caps had one of the top-ranked power play units in the NHL. But it was Murray getting his skilled defensemen to jump up in the offensive play that made the Caps a nightmare for opponents.
I think under Terry Murray's coaching the Capitals, our strategy, our philosophy has changed quite a bit. Primarily a few years ago, we were a very defensive-minded hockey club, and I think traditionally a lot of our games were 3-2 we win or 3-2 we lose. In the last couple of years, with Terry at the helm, I mean, we've become a more exciting, more offensive hockey team. We have a defense that is probably the most offensive in the National Hockey League, and we're starting to do a lot more different things, being a lot more creative. We have more Europeans that we're bringing onto our hockey club. I think Terry is doing more and different things to give us more of that balance.
With the transition game set in high gear, there was now room to showcase the speed that GM David Foyle had assembled. Michael Pavonka centered the Caps' most prolific line this season. For the first time in his career, he averaged over a point per game, scoring 21 goals and dishing out 53 assists to his two smooth skating line mates.
Pavonka in front. Kristich scores!
23-year-old Dmitry Kristich's keen instincts and quick hands helped him record over 30 goals for the second year in a row.
Here comes Kristich, walking in, shoots, scores!
In just his third season, Peter Bondra has blossomed into an NHL All-Star, leading the Capitals in goals with 37 and points with 85.
Here comes Carpenter down the right wing, leads Bondra coming in, he shoots, and he scores! Leads Bondra on the right wing. gets around Zhitnik, take it to the ice, then recovers, walks in, shoots, score!
Bondra's got a breakaway. Here's Peter Bondra. He's on Fitzpatrick. Bondra scores! And the Capitals lead 5-2.
Tremendous speed, unpredictable moves, if you will. To me, he's going to score 50 goals in this league, and as soon as next year he has that type of explosiveness, Peter Bondra is going to be a big reason why we're going to be successful next year.
As the season reached the midway point, for the Washington Capitals, there was no place like home. For over 2 months, they did not lose a game inside the Cap Center, going 13 games without a loss. Anchoring this record-setting run at home was the solid play of goaltender Don Beaupre. His quiet, handsome exterior belies a burning, competitive spirit. He's a quiet man who carries a big stick.
Here comes Donnelly with the drive and a glove save by Beaupre. Here's Nemchinov breaking in. Stick save, Beaupre. Gardner with a quick shot, stopped by Beaupre. The lead to Turgeon. Moving in, he shoots, and Beaupre with the big stop.
While on the ice, Don battles the best of the NHL. At home, his son Nick challenges Dad to some one-on-one table hockey.
I never lose. Never lose this game. I can't win at Sega, but I always win at this one.
Yes, another goal, 2-1. I'm leading.
You know, I like to be a little competitive too, away from the rink, and you know, you have to play Sega or play street hockey or shoot hoops or ping pong or pool or whatever there is to do.
Huge save. Oh.
We like to watch like LA Law or something like that, or I like to watch Northern Exposure show, and it's kind of a different show, but I always fall asleep halfway through it, and maybe that's why I enjoy it so much, because I relax, and it's just kind of a different kind of show.
You know, he kind of has two different personalities during the season. He's really thinking about the game and his job, and in the summer when he's off, he's a lot more relaxed and can be a lot more fun, or when things are going well, he can be a lot more fun. I think he's got a personality where no matter what he does, he'll give it 100% and do his best.
To Mullen, top of the circle, winds up, Beaupre save, rebound, Holt can't find the handle. Thomas out of the corner, gives to Turgeon, who circles in front. In front now is Thomas, and robbed at point-blank range by Don Beaupre, as King carries in across the line. King tries to sweep it in front of the net, and what a save by Don Beaupre.
Beaupre was at his best in a brilliant 33-save shutout against the Islanders in January. Then in February, the Caps exploded, winning 7 in a row, including back-to-back 10-goal romps against St. Louis and Los Angeles.
Left side, Hunter. Hunter moving in. Hunter pass the front shot, score by Pat Elena. Now here on the left side is Brady with a shot. He scores!
They were now a glittering 10 games over 500 and playing some of the best hockey of the year. In March, GM Foyle added a spark to the team when he traded backup goalie Jim Rivnak to Winnipeg for goaltender Rick Tabaracci.
Well, Rick Tabaracci is a young goaltender he's like the Al Iafrate in goal. He's a battler all the time, and he's a little bit unpredictable in terms of what he's going to do. He's a different type of goaltender, and I think the combination of he and Don Beaupre, the veteran, should give us great competition and depth at goal, and hopefully they'll give us winning goaltender.
Tabaracci's acrobatics led the Caps to a spectacular 4-0 shutout of the Montreal Canadiens in April.
Canadians keep it alive. Tabaracci sprawled, and he hangs out once again.
His red-hot play earned him the starting spot in the first round of the playoffs versus the New York Islanders. But despite his stunning performance in goal, as well as 6 goals in 6 playoff games from Al Iafrate, the Islanders stole 3 overtime games to take the series in 6. Perhaps the Washington Capitals' greatest sin has been their quiet efficiency. 11 straight years in the playoffs with no Hollywood superstars. A team whose tradition is built upon a foundation of hard work and determination. Now, poised with seasoned veterans and rejuvenated with new young blood, the Caps are ready to roll into the 93-94 season as leaders in the NHL's new Atlantic Division.
The demands that we put upon our players, the type of players that we have in our lineup, is they're competitive people. That's probably one of the things that we look at that outweighs almost every other characteristic that you can come up with. And when you come to watch the Capitals play, you're going to see a tough hockey game, you're going to see a competitive game, and hopefully the majority of those games will win. We're very optimistic for the future here for the Washington Capitals.
With 1993 first-round draft pick defenseman Brendan Witt and center Jason Allison, and the arrival of the Canadian Hockey League's Player of the Year, Pat Peake, there's a great feeling of anticipation as this highly talented youth blends with the all-star veteran experience, leading the Washington Capitals into the future with a capital attitude.